Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Ankita Sawant, neurophysiotherapist, and today we are going to talk about something truly powerful. What if I told you that your brain can physically rewire itself after injury? Not just adapt, not just cope, but actually change its structure. That process is called neuroplasticity, and understanding it properly can completely transform stroke rehabilitation outcomes. So, welcome to the future of stroke rehabilitation. Our today's agenda is what neuroplasticity actually means, what task specific training is superior, why it is superior, how we now measure brain reorganization, and how patients can continue recovery long after formal rehab ends. Let's begin. So, when people hear the word neuroplasticity, they think it simply means the brain can adapt. So, understanding neuroplasticity is beyond simple adaptation. The structural formation, neuroplasticity isn't merely the brain adapting, but it is the physical structural change at the cellular and network level. Okay, so the definition is incomplete. So, neuroplasticity, as I said, it's a physical structural change inside the brain which involves strengthening of the synaptic connections, formation of new dendritic branches, reorganization of cortical maps, recruitment of alternate neural pathways. So, neuroplasticity, the word physical structural change means strengthening of the synapse, then new dendritic branches, reorganization of cortical maps, and recruitment of alternate neural pathways. This comes under the structural change, physical structural change that is called as neuroplasticity. So, after a stroke, certain neural pathways are damaged. Signals cannot travel the usual routes, but the brain does sometimes remarkable. So, it strengthens the dormant pathways. So it recruits the neighboring cortical areas. It reroutes signals around the damaged zone. So what happens? The strengthened dormant, the healthy dormant pathways, they try to synapse or recruit the neighboring dead areas, cortical areas, and then they reroute the signals in the damaged zone. Likewise, they establish the neural pathways, which is called as neuroplasticity. So think of it like traffic diversions. If one road is blocked, the brain builds a new route. Now, something interesting will come into recovery versus compensation, a cortical distinction. So, compensation is not the same as recovery. If the patient uses trunk bending to lift the arm, that is compensation. So, if the motor cortex reorganizes and restores proper shoulder activation, that is recovery. True neuroplasticity means brain's restructuring, not just movement substitution. So, compensation basically is recruiting other part of the body in order to complete the movement. Whereas true recovery is restoration of the original or near original functions. Now, the power of task specific training. The power of task specific training driving the brain reorganizing. So now let's talk about something practical. Why is task specific training more powerful than generic exercise? It is because the brain reorganizes based on demand and repetition. So if you repeatedly perform leg raises, random strengthening, non-functional movements, the brain improves strength but not necessarily function. But when you practice reaching for a cup, buttoning a shirt, climbing stairs, walking over obstacles, you are forcing the motor cortex to reorganize around the meaningful tasks. Again, you are forcing the motor cortex to reorganize around the meaningful tasks, which is called the experience dependent plasticity. So, repetition of the functional meaningful task is called experience dependent plasticity. So, the principle is simple. The brain allocates more neural resources to what you use. It allocates more neural resources to what you use repeatedly and intensely. So here, repetition, high intensity and goal-oriented tasks are needed. So high intensity, goal-oriented training sends a message to the brain. This movement is important. Allocate neurons here. This is how the neuroplasticity is established. And then we can see the improvement in the patients. For example, breaking down walking into weight shifts, stance control, toe clearance, practicing grasp release in different textures, using constraint induced movement therapy to prevent compensation. So these strategies trigger cortical rewiring, and repetition matters here. Not 10 repetitions. Hundreds of meaningful repetitions are required because neuroplasticity follows the rule use it and improve it or lose it. Okay, so golden rule over here is use it and improve it or completely you will lose it. So now measuring the brain reorganization. So now here where the modern rehab becomes fascinating. So we can actually observe brain reorganization in real time using the functional MRIs, magnetic resonance imaging, transcranial magnetic stimulation mapping, advanced cortical activation tracking. The functional MRIs show which areas of the brain light up during movement. So early after stroke, activation is scattered and inefficient. But with structural rehabilitation scans show more focused motor cortex activation, reduced compensation cortical overactivity, stronger collateral hemisphere integration. And here's the exciting part. When hand function improves clinically, we see measurable changes in motor cortex mapping. This means recovery is not just subjective, it is biologically visible. So for therapists, this validates structural rehab. For patients, it provides hope backed by science. Optimizing long term recovery outcomes. So, as I just mentioned, the pre rehab scans, post rehab scans, insights that scatter, inefficient, more focused, repetitive. So, that's the study done that pre and post rehab neuroplasticity, how patients have drastically improved in terms of performing. Biologically, how evident it was that the patients are able to perform few activities. So optimizing long-term recovery outcomes. Now let's talk about something many people ignore. Rehabilitation does not end when therapy sessions stop. So neuroplasticity continues as long as stimulation continues. To maintain and enhance neural pathways, consistency is key. Daily task practice matters. Environmental enrichment improves the outcome. So environmental enrichment includes social interaction. Okay, the real world environment, social interaction, cognitive challenges, physical activity, learning new skills. Why? Because the brain thrives on complexity. If patient stops using the affected limb, the cortical representation shrinks again. So you need to maintain that as well. If you reach one point and then if the patient thinks that I have achieved all these things and I then stop, then again that all cortical representation shrinks. That is called learned non-use. So here a roadmap for long-term recovery. So continue task-based home exercise. Task-based home exercise, increase complexity gradually, practice in real world environments, challenge balance, coordination, cognition, track progress functionally. Recovery is not linear, but it is adaptable. So, neuroplasticity is not a motivational word, it is biological reality. It means the brain restructures physically, task specific training drives rewiring, brain changes can be measured, Long-term recovery depends on consistent stimulation. So as a neurophysiotherapist, our job is not just to strengthen muscles. Our job is to reshape the brain. And for patients watching this, your brain is not fixed. It is adaptable, it is dynamic, it is capable of change. You just need the right stimulus. If you found this video helpful, like, share and subscribe to Physio Vitals for more evidence-based neuro rehab content. I am Dr. Ankita Sawant and I'll see you in the next video.